Dear kind and loving Father, who art in heaven, as we embark on this venture in the interest of the air conditioning and refrigeration industry, we ask, dear God, that our discussions and interactions be meaningful, respectful, and transparent as we strive to uplift the standards in these industries, especially the air conditioning industry. We ask, dear God, that you grant us the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to engage in a meaningful way and bring about positive change. Amen.
Good evening, good night, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I want to welcome you all on Air Conditioning and Refrigeration Talks. As normal, we will have a discussion. If I could, I will have guests on the program. If I can't, well, I'll try to do the program by myself, along with you out there. But tonight I have two guests. I have two young men on the program with me tonight who will go into the program or go into the discussion about air conditioning and refrigeration. Everyone has a view, and before I turn over to the gentlemen, I just wish to highlight that yes, there are situations that doesn't augur well, but I would like us to be respectful in our discussions. Let us not call any names. We could have a discussion and speak our truth, speak our minds respectfully. So without further ado, I'll take you all to the two gentlemen who is with us tonight on Air Conditioning and Refrigeration Talks. So on my left, we have Mr. Gary Clement from Clement's Air Conditioning Services Limited. And on my right, we have Mr. Darren Ramsey Paul, Darren's Air Conditioning Services. So normally, as I will do protocol, I will ask either of the gentlemen to introduce themselves and give us an idea as to who they are, their businesses, and what have you.
Well, I can start. My name is Gary Clement, co-founder of Clement's Air Conditioning, director of Clement's the same. I've been in the industry since I was 13, so maybe you'll say about 31 years. So I don't know. My good partner here invite me to share a little light. And the host, Mr. Antoine, well, respectfully invited us as well. So share our views on, the air conditioning and the state of the industry right now.
Okay, so well, I want to welcome you on the program tonight, so we'll turn over to Mr. Darren. Yeah.
Good night, everyone. I am Darren Ramsey Paul from Darren's Air Conditioning. I've been in the industry permanently about 10 years. I grew all my life in the industry because of my family. I'm here today because, one, people, they don't understand that, not because I was 10 years in the industry, I do have experience. I came from reputable companies working as a technician. So, and I am certified in air condition. I'm here because, as my good friend Gary will say, and the industry in a mess. So we're here to talk, discuss, and see where it is that we could come to in a better position and stand where it is we get some sort of value back into what we just do. Because it really reached a point where basically I have no value into it. So again, I am from Darren's Air Conditioning. We're here to discuss, clean, nice discussion, and I will thank Mr. Antoine for having us on too. And we look forward into this conversation here. I look forward into it.
Well, I wish especially thank you for coming. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we heard it, Mr. Clement and Mr. Darren. And every time someone appears on this platform, we would realize mathematically it scores of years when you add the two guests together. We had two guests on this program with as much as 80 years in collaboration, 40 by 40, 80 years. So I'm saying the air conditioning industry has people with experience over the years. And with all that experience, we are seeing a decline in terms of the standards in the industry. And I believe an industry as the air conditioning industry, where you have to go through certain protocols and certain certification, I think there's supposed to be more respect in terms of the standards and the pricing in the industry. So with all I have just said, gentlemen, what do you think based on what I've just read? Do you all agree? Could you elaborate based on what I have just discussed or just mentioned about the industry itself?
Yeah. To touch base on pertaining to the experience or the certification within the industry, a lot of newcomers, there is say rookies, tend to get into the business and take it as a hustle. Okay. You understand? And I don't think business should be a hustle. You understand? Especially something as critical as air conditioning. Air conditioning itself is a science.
Very good.
You understand? It's not anybody just walk into it and do it, and you don't really care the outcome of the whatever situation you're dealing with or whatever unit you're dealing with. You understand? It has a science behind it. It has a certain method of approach that you're supposed to take. And we knowing this, we know that comes with a price. You understand? Just as a doctor, a lawyer have a certain level of respect on the trade, we take a lot of years studying this, as others should have. But in most cases, that is not the case. They don't study the business. They don't take it as a business. They take it as a hustle, as I say. You work with a company, you enter there for a year, a few months, and you just come out, leave the job, and you're able to enter into somebody's home and say, I know how to do this. I know how to maintain, I know how to install, I know how to do this. And my take on it is the customers supposed to know better than that. You understand? Don't just allow the younger guys to enter. I mean, everybody have to live.
But I don't mean to cut you, Gary, but is big companies causing this, you know? Because they saturate the industry so much that even a regular client will feel like a man who just come out there and buy a pressure washer and buy a drill could install and service air condition.
That is exactly.
And that is where the industry reached too. That is where the industry reached too. They didn't take the time to really understand the fundamentals behind it. You understand? Well, go ahead.
And that is the problem. Not understanding the fundamentals and not taking it as a business is what will degrade this business. You understand? Because when we as business owners now come and charge a particular amount of a certain cost for a particular job, we take into account that it has taxes, we VAT registered, we have families to take care of, we have vehicles to take care of. You understand? So it's not that we have overhead to deal with. We have phone bills, we have equipment, we have certain things that we have to maintain as well. You understand? So this is not like we just want to overcharge or we're trying to be unfair to the clients. We really and truly try to be as transparent as possible by, having conversation with them as the reason why it might be a little more is this. And we understood this, not now, from even companies that we work for as well. Because we have experience working with other companies, bigger companies, from, like say for instance, in our junior years coming up. We grew to understand what it took to run that business, to pay guys, to upkeep it. You understand? That tires to change, engine that's mash up, parts to change. So we know the struggles and we're experiencing it now. So when the guys and them just run in and drop the price and have it as it don't have a standard, it affecting not just the customer, but every one of us as technicians as well.
Yeah.
You understand?
I change about, in my years around in my company, I probably change about 6 engine and more in company vehicles. Just recently, our engine just overheated one of the wagon. You had to change that one time. There's a
Definitely.
cost. There's a cost behind it. My whole thing in the industry is, personally, in the mini-split industry, because I wouldn't really venture. I did that for Gary to go into the bigger units. Now I could. I was a technician. I worked for the company I worked for years, and I was a technician inside it. I could go into it. I wouldn't, and I personally wouldn't go into it because it do have technicians like myself, like Gary, like other men who into the owner thing. It do have much of that out in the industry. It have men who could install and service units. Now you had to take them, you had to nurture them fellas and them, you had to bring them up to your standard. So you wouldn't see me going into big contracts in terms of with bigger units. Because if that's the case, I would have to do that. Now as a father, I had to see what my children. So I say, in my aspect, let me go into a really good, reputable mini-split industry. That Trinidad lacked that very bad. When you watch, I don't know if I can call the name like Peak Sunning. When you watch the professionalism them and just come to you with, the way they carry about the crew, the workers, that's my background. I come from there. The least I could do is do that into a small company. You understand? Now, my whole problem is the degrading the price. Now, if everybody is selling it at a good price, all go sell because it's air condition. Everybody buy air condition. Now, everybody want to bring in air condition themselves, and everybody want to sell it cheap, and then everybody just want to go over there and do halfway install. They leave in the copper roll up, they leave in the white foam, everything. After a year or two, you go back there, dry rot. When we go and tell our customer, hey, this is looking good. Now, I know they will come at me, they will say, Darren, that used to happen. But I would say this publicly. When I had opened my air condition business, I was up against the biggest set of men in the country. So I had no choice but to just jump in the hustle and just do it as how it go and just build the name and build it. So that's why at a period of time I had slowed down from installing air condition and more going to doing proper maintenance and servicing and things, because that is where the industry really lacked. The industry really lacked that. And the industry lacked that because 90% of the men, and I see this already, 90% of the air conditioned men, even if they go and do a crash course and get a certificate, excuse, they go jump in a company, they do some installation and do some servicing. Here is the issue. The issue is, let me say they work for 300 hours a day. You work from 8 in the morning till 9 in the night, 8 in the night. In 1 week, that person go and tell himself, hey, we seen. I say, AC man, no. I go there and service 2 air condition for 500 on pocket, install 1 AC for 500-600 on pocket, and I cover my day pay. Now that same man who learned that in 1 week or 2 weeks going to a supplier and they're selling them air condition. That is the reason for everybody bringing air condition now. Because they come like, let me just do a reference here. I jump in my Gary, doing some air condition. In 1 week, 2 weeks, I feel like Gary pressuring me with the work because he fighting on the market with the price. And I find like I just working like a slave. I jump out there, a man out there who just has some money, he say, boy, are you going to bring down some air conditioner? Where you see me, I'll sell it. That is where the industry reached to. The industry reached to that. Where everybody and anybody bringing air conditioner. Yeah, everybody bringing air conditioner and selling it now.
That being said, and based on what both of you all just indicated to the listening and viewing public, it is touted, or the word on the ground is that you guys is responsible or partly responsible as to the problem that exists as we speak. And this is why, one of the reasons why you all are here is to clear the air where that is concerned. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah. I could say this without any doubt.
Because no, I'm giving you all the latitude to speak your truth, respectfully, of course.
Right.
But word on the ground is, you see, I always use a term, Satan can't correct sin.
Right.
And if a company is charging 50 and the right price is supposed to be 60, and I am charging the 60 and the other company is charging 50, if I want to compete against that individual, I can't go below him to justify the ends and the means. And you have been tarnished in that context.
Yeah.
So
I will take that.
realistically, let's get an idea as to why that should be.
All right, so I have no problem going into this because here why. It are the said people who just do that, right? The main goal for them is see a person like me, or even other people who professionally could do it, they would go the extreme to make sure that that person do have no work slow, he had enough job for his workers. Now, again, and I would say this, I would take that blame for the fact that I just dropped my price the same way. But I didn't drop my quality. And that is where I have a problem with. Because I started pour out all my effort, all my quality, all the materials for less price. I would take my wrong for doing it and not stand up for my price, but somewhere along the line, them fellas and them, somebody had to apply some pressure onto them, because the fact that they're doing this is to apply pressure on men like we. That is why they just do it. Now, everybody just say, boy, Darren, lead them, let them do it, you're going to end up with the service in the end. Right? But when you check it, while them doing that at that price, them crashing the industry, because them not leaving no room for a customer to say, well, look at the quality he doing and he's a big company. What them go come and do? Right? So I dropped my price only because from the get-go, from the time I had opened Darren's Air Condition, and that's how it was. I don't know if who could remember, but we used to be in competition, and I would say from my experience, this was created by the people who bring in the air condition. Because from the get-go, I remember a time in 2019 we were selling an air condition for $17.99 installed. If I say sit down here today and tell you what sense that make and where that put me, no way whatsoever. But you know what going on? That was just the fact that I had to build my name. I had to build my name out there. Because if I didn't sell at that price there, Darren would just go down. And that person would just stay up there.
So based on your discussion, and from what I am getting from your discussion, is that you are having a fight with another leader, another stakeholder.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
basically, what you are indicating to the listening and viewing public is a kind of tit for tat something. You know the old people are saying, who have more corn, feed more fowl?
Right.
Is it something like that?
But that's how it is in the industry.
So that's how it is.
That's how it is in the industry.
Right. So
Because here what's happened, and exactly where you now say they in the old people form, right? We ain't call no names, we ain't pointing no fingers. But here what happened, an individual go, say here we see, I want all this air condition here. A supplier might say, but and I can't get all that, I keep back out 100 or 200 pieces for my regular clients and people who walking in. Right? They will still give him the
Is
amount.
who money bigger?
Right? No.
you ever hear that?
Is who have more money?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's how it is. And it's not about the quality behind the company.
Yeah.
It's about who could buy the most air condition.
sometimes.
So Gary, that's a good point. Because everybody would say I would contribute to the fact that I selling cheap. I show men paying less for units than me.
So what you are saying, I want the listening and viewing public, and whoever will see this show in the future, who is reviewing tonight, indicated who have more money. So in other words, who have more money could would purchase more and pay less, that kind of thing. Let's say
Yeah.
a person purchases a unit is $12,
Right.
Yeah.
and you're selling $12 retail, and somebody could purchase a whole container. Is there a possibility somebody might end up paying $6
Yeah,
based on the volume?
Yeah.
That's
That's what you are saying?
And that's where it is, that person will come and put a price. Now, here is my whole issue on this problem here. I don't mind you paying $6 for a unit. Let me come to a fair price where everybody could say we sell at one price. You make your profit. You make your profit. Why it is you want to pay $6 for the AC and sell it back for $12? Sell back the thing for $18 if that's the normal price for it. You want to go now and sell it for that price.
You
No.
will still make your profit.
Exactly.
You understand?
You have
So
a
it come like
reputable name.
you're stifling the men that bank not as big
As
as
big
yours.
as yours. No, and personally, that's been going on for years.
For years, yeah.
For years. I remember in a meeting, and I wouldn't call no names at all, but it was big men in that meeting. I was in that meeting, and the meeting was, we fighting on the market. And I'm going to tell you, and I will say this publicly, I was the only person in that crew that stand on my word. I, Darren Amsipol, I was the only person that didn't drop my price, didn't stoop to them. It's only now because they're overdoing themselves. And personally, I could do it. I had choose, as I tell Mr. Antoine before the price reached the way it is here right now, people could recall, they could go on my page, you could see. The same unit I was selling that for $2,800, $2,900. And I was getting it sold, it was selling, it was real selling. But you know what happened? Everybody watching my company and saying, boy, we will go across there and get it for $2,600, $2,500. Now I had to leave that because for who know me, I don't sell each and everybody brand. I just hand select out my units.
And mind you, not the 28 and 29 was the market price across the cheap.
Cheap, that was
You understand?
cheap, yeah.
That was considered cheap.
Cheap, yeah.
So he's selling cheap, the other people selling cheap. But they realize he's selling cheap too and getting sales. So here what's going on? Strategize. Let me go
stop
lower.
that. No,
let me see if he could go lower now. So we're doing that for you're putting a strain on other men that had to, on the smaller men. You understand? Now, competition is good for business, so be it, all right. But at the end of the day, this is an industry.
Yeah, but you forget the business aspect. What about the quality? What about the purpose where we value coming?
Right, so let me say, for instance, now, they could shoot themselves in the leg by another company. Let me say somebody else do them the same thing. Now, let me say it reached down to 2,200. If somebody do that now.
But that me, and that's why I get
So
the
when
bargain for you know.
No, when you bring it down to the 22 now.
That me.
You want to get your fee?
Yeah, that's why I get the bad name for. I been real.
Yeah, so when you bring it down to that level now everybody, it come like you're making 200 on a unit.
But does it make sense?
It's not making no
You
sense.
see, gentlemen,
It's not a sensible
I am
move.
glad you all are here. And when Mr. Darren reached out to me, I said to Mr. Darren, come and have your seat. Respectfully, as I said, because no one is perfect. And there is a situation within the air conditioning industry. And mind you, gentlemen, let me say this to you all. If we here are the lower echelon of society in the industry, who talking about splitting? It have the fight up there too, you know. Those people don't have the fight up there too, you know.
I just never ventured into it. You
It have
understand?
it, all those big conglomerates, it have it too. But you see, those within this sphere, I would love to reach out to you gentlemen. It's time we set some sort of standard where we could come together, have a discussion, and everybody could come. Watch me. Tomorrow don't belong to you or me, listen.
Exactly.
And this is how I live.
But me too.
Tomorrow is not promised to any one of us.
Exactly.
As I just say, this world is not my home. I'm just passing
Through that
through.
journey.
And this is why I speak how I speak.
It's our journey.
You see, but with respect, of course.
Yeah.
And I believe every one of us have a stake, and we could work and lift the standard I mean, how on God's given earth a man could do an install for X, we're making 210 men at a hit the streets for hours.
Mr. Antoine, let me do this example for you. Just before I opened Darren's Air Condition, which was about 6 years ago, I personally, and this is why I go take what everybody will say Darren is part of the contribution to it. When the particular individual drop the price and I match them, I teach them fellas and them how to use a ratchet bender. I introduce them fellas into that. When I was around them fellas and them putting on a 5 ton or 36, it's elbow. Every bend is an elbow. Every bend. I talk about soft draw, normal couple.
Every elbow.
It's a restriction. And I introduce them to a bender. I teach them and the company how to use a bender and to do it properly and how to organize. So when I open my company, you want to spite me. That is where it is the real bacchanal take place, because you can't tell me all of a sudden you're selling 2,500, 2,300, you drop to 1,900. You feel you could advantage me? Nah, you can't advantage me.
Back.
Yeah, no, the only difference is them fellas and them was already in the industry, already making the money. So they had the money, they had the capital to continue fighting. But what they thought, and God is working in my favor, and I tell anybody this, what they thought is that they could have put me down. They didn't expect to see who I really is. They didn't expect to see where I come back out from. Because at a point of time, I had reached in the industry that Darren done, I leave them with that. I really leave them with that. I really leave me and to say Darren's done. I born and grew in air condition, but although I, in the industry about 10 years, the men and them who train me in air condition, and I tried to call one of them to see if he could have come on out too. Gary knew him real good, Akil. That was the first man who tried to train me in air condition. After when I started to work peaks and things, I do my course. I have level 1 in MIC, I have a level 1 in peaks house. Course peaks I do. I do a day seminar with VRF system, and I do a day seminar for hydrocarbon. I talk about all these things in 2016. They now start to bring hydrocarbon units, right?
Well, that is good. You showed interest in the theoretical aspect. That is important.
I had started level 1 in area recently. I didn't drop out. I stopped. I talk to them in there because they know me good. And I tell them, I say, here we see.
I feel you had too much work.
No, recite too much work. It's the responsibility too. I have plenty of responsibility on my hands. I have plenty. So I just say, you know what? The time not right. Darren, the time not right. Because when I go, I want to go and then 1, 2, and 3. One time go for my permit.
Yeah.
Right, I want to go for my license after. I come from that background.
One I might take, not cutting you.
No, you're good.
But one I might take with, like we say, basically we all connected and they're not for today alone, right?
Of course, all connected.
So my responsibility, my social responsibility that I undertake is for the younger fellas. To me, I start doing content, right? The reason I started doing content, I was never a content man, right? I just basically started doing them videos because I choose to highlight quality over quantity. And the reason I start showing certain things on my my platform on TikTok is because I wanted the younger guys, I wanted to highlight what was taking place out there and let the customer see. And this group, the group that we was in, is what motivated me to do that. Because if I see 250 something, 60 something guys, I having conversation with them, we fighting this, and all them doing is talking about
Only group.
Yeah, all them talking about is this one price high and this one price low and this one drop it price and this one is 150. I started saying, no, me I can't deal with all of that. You understand? So I started to make recommendation. I say, here what's going on. You can't beat competition. Competition will always be there, right? Start to market yourself based on quality.
Yeah.
You understand? Show what you could do. Let the clients, let the customers choose the company based on the know-how, the skill set, the experience. You understand? So now, we level the playing field now. You understand? But because the customers not really literate in terms of the air conditioning industry, they tend to choose based on price and then bounce ahead. So, and then they'll come back to the senses now and say, yeah, boy, you know, I really should not choose that 2,500 or that 26. That cost me a real headache down the road because there's a set of little boys, them coming by me all kind of 8:30 in the night to start to install a unit. And when they come to install to service a unit, 9 o'clock in the night by me, and who shining a phone light to start to, you understand? Water leaking out the unit the next day, water wetting down the place. You know, this kind of thing, unit now done install and there's problems. So I said, all right, I was hearing the cry because that real man highlighting everything now. So I said, all right, I could just show what Clemens air conditioning could do.
Capable.
You understand? And that is my mantra right show.
Okay, so I would like you to hold your thoughts as we go to a break.
No problem.
Due to climate change and increasing temperatures, Supreme Air Conditioning of 25 Councilman Circular Barataria has reduced the prices on all brand AC units, residential and commercial. Call us at 689-3087 or 365-1163. Already have air-conditioned units? Need reliable professional service? Then call Supreme Air Conditioning at 689-3087 or 365-1163. Supreme Air Conditioning is not only about competing prices. We do it right the first time.
Key to a successful business is the quality of the human being that you have working in that business. If you have quality, you end up with a quality business. It's as simple as that.
Peak Technologies Limited is primarily an air conditioning contracting company. We offer commercial and residential air conditioning, sales, installation and service. Our small unit sales division is responsible for sales and installation, that is for residential air conditioning. Then we have the commercial air conditioning aspect where engineering does the design and installation along with ductwork and so on. We have our service department which conducts all the maintenance servicing for our contract customers.
tonight again. Welcome, welcome as we continue our discussion with Mr. Clement and Mr. Ramsey Cole on air conditioning and refrigeration talks, where we are discussing situations which isn't uplifting to the morale of technicians, engineers in the whole air conditioning industry. Besides these two gentlemen, there are hundreds of young men who have the same mindset in terms of thought as to where the industry is going. And as Mr. Clement indicated, there are a lot of men on chat groups, and I have some voice notes tonight to play, which I would like the director to play. So director, you can play some voice notes for us as we will listen as to some of the cries of some of the men in the industry. Go ahead, director. So while the director sort out his sort outs, we have some voice notes to play. So we'll see if the director could more or less play the voice note, because sometimes there is technical difficulties that exist. So while the director sort out his sort outs, we could still, he was indicating about in the industry and the men on different chats and saying different things. You see, the main thing with this discussion, as I indicated to you, and you give me a positive response, I said, sir, based on all that is taking place, are you willing to stand forward and, you ready, director? All right, go ahead, director, as we listen to these voice notes.
From what I gather, boy, the destruction of this industry is inevitable. It's a runaway train, you can't stop it. You understand? You cannot stop it. Because I remember learning trade doing unit like 25 years ago. You would tell a customer, go do your unit for $100, $150. They would say, all right, I off the books. And 20 something years now, man still doing that, boy, Dan, boy. How that changing? That could only get worse. But how other companies doing it? How them doing that, boy, for real? I don't understand how them doing that, boy. It's just men walking the liver string out then. And seeing how much they could install in a day, because if it's 200 a unit, a madness, boy.
When you install is for 25 or so, money you can do. Now if not, better idea by Akim, boy. And then fellas guy money show. Yeah. I find that even better idea. If I go to show and all bob the dog, I condition show now dog. Yeah, son. So here was the scene. The man in the show here want to invite you night, boy. You seen you will let the walk across so. Now if not, better idea by Akim, boy. And then fellas guy money show. Yeah. I find that even better idea.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, as you heard some of the voice notes, and this is why Mr. Darren and Mr. Clement said, because on the chat, they said to bring him on the show, and he's here. And the thing is, you see, it takes a man to come out and face the fire with situations like these. And the same gentleman who was speaking would stay on the chat and wouldn't come out and ask questions and say, and if you call a meeting, how much of these men would be willing to come out and have a discussion in the interest of trying to fix the low pricing, which one of the voice noters was indicated. If you follow what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You are here, you indicated you are willing, Mr. Clement, you are willing, but the time will come, my intention is to set a standard in terms of calling a meeting at some point in time where all of us would be incorporated to have a discussion. I think we could try at least, as I say, a journey begins with a single step. And if we get all the young men, all the technicians, we have a discussion. And then we could meet with these suppliers and then meet with AIRCONDITION. See, it has to happen.
Look at this. The first voice of the man say 20 something years ago was that price. Before Darren's become Darren's, and I was in my hustling days while working for other people, I used to work for almost $1,000 on a 12 install. Sometimes I do 3 and a half day, I go home. I go home, I do nothing the road again. You understand? Look where it is now. I remember doing a service, a 12 service when I had now start off was 300 and 250. Look where it is now. Men still charging 150 for it.
No, they dropped it to 150. That was the standard price. That was the price it was supposed to remain at and go to. You understand?
Yeah.
Because everything else going up and we going down.
But look right about now. I just wonder.
That makes sense now, right?
Look right now, how about 10 kegs of chemical home, right? Now, I personally, I just use a stronger chemical. I don't use the little watery one with this, right? And all them things are cost, but that's only man will come and drop chemical and you say that and the price had to increase a little bit, you know. Well, I want to tell them, I can't use it. That's more job, that is what the customer need. Look, as I was mentioning to you earlier on, the pumps on them I buy 2 pumps. I meet up a customer of mine, my sister over the weekend, and he telling me, he said, Darren, boy, how you going to reach up in the Arctic with the service that one, boy? Because you know why, the customer with the regular pressure washer and the regular, everybody pulling up a pressure washer and doing them thing. I tell them, I say, have you seen? I say, when my workers come by here, when they finish, call man, tell them how satisfied I was. When he done, the man call man. He said, boy, that's the best thing you ever buy, boy. No, that costs real money. That costs real money to buy that.
And you see, saying all of that, and knowing your expense, a businessman don't go into a business to bust. So I can see, yes, you're spending your money on your pump, you have to send your men, you have to be, and then we charging so small.
But right
it doesn't make, I didn't understand it.
And in my case, as men go say, right, in my case, I really do have a choice because here why? The same people who selling at that price and who want to go lower and who want to talk all kind of thing, one, they're not doing nothing in quality compared to me. Two, they probably lack real experience. Mind you, I mean, I worked in the industry for the amount of years. I would have men who would say the industry looks simple as Gary. Gary had 30 years in the industry, right? And he look it right here, he could ask me the level of respect we have for each other. It never had one day, and I am 1000% sure Gary would have done and already when my customers that my workers and my company previously went, and we still keep it respectfully. The man would call and correct me. The man would call and say, Darren, your workers on shit. Right? Oh, sorry. Sorry. The man will call and say, Darren, correct that. Yeah, deal with that. And it have people in the industry who we would carry about ourselves in that manner. We would come out and say, hey, correct this, deal with this, deal with that. No, that is looking out. That is looking out, and the reason for that is because Gary and them know, Tammy and them who know the experience, the fact that what we could do, what I could do. I don't want to be only feel like men and say, boy, Darren, boy, all they do be out there, all they just sit down home and just carry about everything. No. I don't know if all they do understand the scale of company that I have. I can't be out there all the time. I have customers to keep satisfied. I have vehicles to make sure it on the road every day, make sure that nothing happens to it. I have workers to make sure they're comfortable. Aside from that, I have a personal life. My whole point is, reaching here is because they're degrading the value that I have. They're degrading the value that Clemens and I have. They're degrading the value of other friends that I have. It's are really younger than me, who now come out, just call me for advice. And I could personally say I just help them. I just help them. Just today, one of my partner called me to ask me for advice on a unit. And I help him. It's are men who know me, air-conditioned men who could testify for that. If they call Darren, whether they have a company or they're just hustling, I will help them. Sometimes I will go on a video call and walk them through a repair on a small unit because I have a customer to it. Right? But all we need to do is get some sort of value back into men who love what they're doing. Because I feel like everybody who just dropping all that price, they are not loving into the industry. They're just going out there and hustling. Now mind you, most of them who dropping that price and who want to sell 100 units a day, them are not churning anything to see about it. Them are not, them is just them, you know. So I'm not saying that because I was a family man, I had a thing. But I me being a family man and me putting the value and the efforts of being an air condition technician and opening an air condition company, I want to be able to reap the benefits.
Yeah, the thing about it is, we run an air conditioning company, not an air conditioning slave ship. You understand? Because you want to, let me say for instance, let me say we're speculating, right? Let me say that I'm buying the unit for the same price we're buying it for, right? Let me just go hypothetically speaking, right? You're buying it for the same price, okay. But you have men working who let we know how much units you're installing per day. You understand? So you
You're clear to divulge that figure, how much per day there is?
I mean, men installing all kind of 10 and 12 units a day in one crew.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I know men who doing in this industry alone. I asked Gary this question already. Tell me from, let me just say 8 to 8 because like them work hours is past 5. Excuse me. Tell me how it is to get 8 installation done on our 10 service. You tell me what type of work you
On
get
one crew.
On one crew.
What kind of standard of work you doing on them
And then you vex with
installation and
me.
service, right?
Here what they vex with me for? They vex with me for dropping that price, but only selling our 4 for the day. I want to do that. I, running my company, want to do that. I, up to this day, at $2,500, I don't send out my crew with no 10 and no 8 installation. Maybe 4 for the most. Reason for that is because the quality.
Kill nobody.
And the quality,
Yeah.
my workers is workers, them working under me. Very first thing they go out and say, boy, this man have me like slave out here. This man pressuring me. I have workers who is family men too. So then I have no courtesy then.
But I want to respectfully say, sending out 4 at 25, still not cutting it. Because somehow you become part of the problem, and I say that respectfully. You see, Mr. Darren, Mr. Clement, it had to start somewhere.
Right.
I think, as you indicate, I believe the right thing is the right thing. The right thing can't be the wrong thing.
Right.
And it's all hands on deck.
Right, but my point is, and I mentioned to this day before, even if I sell that 4 units a day, I could afford to do that. Somebody need to pull up on a man who is just, okay, look the rich to now person, $24.99. Tell me how that making sense. But a real talk, the rich to person,
$24.99. For that thing happen. So ladies and gentlemen, not cutting, as you are hearing for yourself, what is taking place in the air conditioning industry. And air conditioning and refrigeration talks is bringing it across to you live and direct.
No, but that's a good thing I'm doing because you know
It's sad
what?
reality.
Everybody just go be on the phone and you think all the talks they have is this. All the talks they have is on the phone.
Well,
All the talks they have on the phone.
I'm shocked. I'm stumped.
And
the
what,
way that
let me just on my end. When all they come my Clements, all they have to pay $3,500 to install a unit. From $3,300 to $35, I am not dropping my price because I have meant to pay and I find I'm not making enough money. I'm not going to drop my quality. First thing, I'm not going to stay 2-3 hours installing a unit by all with 2 3 men on the job. Diesel at a buy, tools at a buy, lunch buy out of that money.
What about tape?
You understand?
What about wall plug? What about screws?
Wall plugs,
M8, PVC pipe,
trunking,
nail,
anchor bolts, wherever. And then you're telling me I going home with nothing?
listen what I
You understand?
In the morning I can
So
raise my price.
if I say Gary, here what's going on? I'm not making that because I have 3 men to pay. If you tell you what a good job, you want the job done good, at least you have 2 to 3 men on a job. Right? So you're looking at they pay, the next man they pay, and the next man. You understand? Diesel, vehicle, time on the road, all these things. And you know men love doubles and all kind of things. They want to stop eating. They be real. Unless I run in a beast mode, slave ship, that's the only way I'm going to get more out of men. You understand?
What?
So in order for people to be comfortable, here what's going on. I had to make at least $800 on this work, so that way I could pay this man, and maintain my business.
And I'm not being fragmentous in any way.
No.
That is being realistic.
Realistic,
based on
exactly.
Your standard and based on the craft itself.
But this is, and I was going to mention this
and where you're getting from the job too.
It are real jobs, and this is why when everybody want to vex with me for dropping my price, to just get a little trouble, because I always watch it, you know. I just watch it, they not affecting me, I just get a little trouble, right? When I quoted my price, when it comes to 5-ton apartments, buildings, commercial buildings, anything, I just charge my full price. Reason for that is because the effort, the work, and you're not going to see my company pull a buyer, and by the time 10 o'clock at night, only you see them install and you're gone. It's days we're going to spend by you. Right? The reason for that is the quality. It had jobs, I lose real jobs, especially apartment building. Don't talk about apartment building, and you know what? We just had to go back to fix it. You quote the customer, and the customer will go and pay the cheaper price. Now I don't have a problem with that, you know. But you see, when I come to repair it or I come to service it and it's too hard for me, and I tell you, this is my price to do it, don't vex with me. Because in the first place, if you had reached out to one of we, and we had come, assess the job, tell you, right, it could work this way, it could work that way, we was going to do it in a way that, one, you're going to get professionally done, neatly done, and the after service towards it would be easy. So like for instance, right in Oasis in Endeavour, I do a quotation for a building. Now tell me, I want to know if I crazy, right? In the industry. We talk about a 3-story building, Gary. I quote the customer, right? The man all on top of the floor is 36 and 24. I quote the man for everything to bring down the 24 and 36 at least to the second floor, where we can manage to go up on a scaffolding properly, and when time to repair it. Now my quote was, well, I see who do the job, me go call no names, but automatically it goes to show that I quote too much. Now, if that customer feel like I quote too much, you know I pass by the building and all the 36, all the 24 up on the 3-story height. No, as I in line by all the condensers and I'm on the 3rd story by back to back, they put it within the 10 feet. Now tell me how that making sense, right? And then you go fight me and say, no, I want to drop my price low. That price is only for back to back and just to get the competition, competition. Right? But all you can't catch me to do that kind of nonsense. I would not be doing that work. It's our real customers I turn down. It's our real work I turn down because you can't tell me where you want to pay me when I know the job and with that. So for the John public, it's our real work that I just turn down. Real work, and I just leave it for it. Otherwise get upset when they want to come and bring the industry to where it is today.
I have a segment called Breaking the Ice segment. Things that make you go, oops. So this goes for all who charge and ship and everything. At the end of the program, so director, things that makes you go, oops. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, things that makes you go, oops. This program tonight, a lot of things were said that make me go, oops. So we have 4 minutes, and with the 4 minutes, I'll just let you men give closing remarks. And as I said, I would hope that we can have a discussion as time goes by. So we will try to get most of the young men involved, because as I said, those are the top echelon of society in the industry. They too have their situations, but they're looking down at us because they are, as I say, the industry is vast, and certain situations what we down here, I would put myself with you guys, would incur, they are far from that. But they are in their own league in terms of their trials and tribulations. So I will hope that we could meet at some point and we'll reach out to most of the guys. You guys, who only speaking, we have a discussion to be had. So I'll give you guys a few minutes and you all can say your closing remarks.
My closing remarks is basically bring up the standard. You understand? Keep up the standard. Don't fight each other. You can't really fight it too much, to be honest. We could have discussions. We can't fight each other, because if it is we go tit for tat, you just keep going down. You understand? You can't go fighting no price war in this bacchanal here. Because you will keep going down, because it's only down men heading. Men ain't going up, you know. You're going, it's not no 25 and 26 and 28, it's 25 and now it's going to 23 and 24,
99.
Well, are you shocking to hear this now?
I was saying it after. Don't reach 24.99.
So we don't want to head in that direction. Chance that we just fight based on standards, based on the technicality or the professionalism that you're giving the customer, and ask some advice to the customers too. Or they try and know how they're choosing men to come in other place and do certain work. It's not about who giving you the best price alone. You understand? It's have men giving you quality out there. Go on Facebook, go on TikTok, go on Play, go wherever you could see the work and choose based on quality. You understand? So just choose things based on the best price that will just pay. Because I can say that because I tell them they always be calling me to fix it. So I know all the experience in real bad work. You understand? So they will call Clement to fix it. I don't have a problem. I will call me. I do any work anytime.
So ladies and gentlemen, we are coming to a close. We wish to especially thank you all for staying with us. And I wish to thank Mr. Darren and Mr. Clement for being on air with us. So in moving forward, we hope that things will be better in the near future. Have a pleasant night.
Dear kind and loving Father, who art in heaven, as we embark on this venture in the interest of the air conditioning and refrigeration industry, we ask, dear God, that our discussions and interactions be meaningful, respectful, and transparent as we strive to uplift the standards in these industries, especially the air conditioning industry. We ask, dear God, that you grant us the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding to engage in a meaningful way and bring about positive change. Amen.